Hi guys and welcome back to my channel Popcorn Reviews. I am Farhad. If you're new to this channel then please smash that subscribe button right now. And the film that I am going to be discussing today is CBI 5 The Brain. And I was getting many requests on reviewing this film on YouTube, and because it is a Malayalam film I was going to do it anyway. But so here is the review. I mean, it starred my one of my favorites, Mammootty, and it had an earlier theatrical release, and later it just made its way to Netflix yesterday, and I happened to watch it last night. And before watching it, I was just reading through some of the reviews, and they were kind of mixed, considering that they weren't exactly positive, I would say, and that was a bit surprising because the trailer of it was really exciting and it was really good. Here, I must say that. I haven't watched any of the previous parts of the CBI franchise. This is the first film that I have watched, so I have literally no reference of how the earlier parts were and how they turned out to be. So this is just a first of the franchise, you can say, and and it's not related is what I knew, so I could definitely go ahead and watch it. So here is the review. CBI 5 is basically a story of an investigation that goes behind a string of murders, and basically it is a who done it, and you just needed to link all the factors together as to who did it and why the murders were happening and what was the motive behind the murders. And there's an investigation that takes place, conflict between the police as well as the CBI initially before the CBI completely takes over. This is the basic story that is there, and I think the screenplay was a bit of a mixed bag for me. Very honestly, I think. The opening, first say 40 odd minutes were, I think the writers were caught in that dilemma whether, they wanted to, get to the point very quickly or they wanted to build a world around it. So I felt it was a bit of a mix, which is why, the murders just happen in a matter of minutes, even before the audience, in this case me, could settle into the film, the murders already had happened, and so that was a bit unlike a Malayalam film where, the focus is on building the world and building the atmosphere and the ambience before getting to the point. I think that was something that was little indifferent for me while approaching a Malayalam film. The fun starts, and this is the fun twisted investigation that happens once there's the entry of Mammootty, which is the protagonist of from the CBI end, and that is when the film is at its peak, and it's the investigations are impressive. It's twisted. There are many subplots, and although there are a few loopholes here and there, and some subplots haven't been completely developed, but there are many characters to keep you invested and to keep you guessing, particularly in the engaging and thrilling second half. I think which was quite brilliant, and it did keep me on my toes as to who is the murderer. But then, and this is a very big but, when the grand reveal happens, I was not too impressed by it. Although I could not guess who the main uh, culprit was, but I was not very impressed by it simply because the motive was so trivial. I mean, I have seen far better motives. It was something, I mean, if I had to compare this with 21 grams very roughly, because that again is a whodunit in the serial killer genre, I was able to guess the culprit there, but I still was wanting to know how the journey was. I was very curious in the journey of it. And here, I mean, by the end, I got to the end. I mean, it was just like, why? I mean, it's okay. I couldn't guess. It was a little bit of a shocker as to who the main culprit was at the end. But the reason, the motive was so trivial that it actually made me face palm. I was like, no, this isn't the case. It should not be the case. It should be something more substantial, basically. After string of twists and turns. I think the screenplay just lacked in the first and the last phase, and the middle phase was really impressive, and that was the time when the film really shines. Coming to the technical aspects, the dialogues are adequate. Is okay. There's no music in the song, so you are never disconnected as a viewer from the main drama. Because when the music comes and stalls, that is not the case here. Despite a very long run time, which I felt could have been little bit edited, but nevertheless, the entire runtime you are in the movie. You are not never disconnected, is what I felt. The BGM is good, particularly in the introduction of the protagonist. That BGM when it plays there, it's really impressive. And when the grand reveal happens, that BGM again was excellent. Cinematography is again okay. It didn't have that kind of a scope. I feel this film wasn't that kind in which the cinematography would really be impressive. The director K. Madhu has done a decent job, a fair job. I wouldn't say. I think the director had a task of making this feel like a nostalgic feeling while watching this, considering that there were 4 parts already that were there, and the last part I think was in the 2000s. So it's been a while since the part 4 has released. So it wanted to bring out that kind of a nostalgia as well as weave a very thrilling tale. He's managed to do that, but not completely. I think this is one of those Malayalam films that is there, but not quite there. I can say, it's like not as bad as how people are making it to be, but not very good as well. It's somewhere in between. And coming to the performances, I think the ensemble cast is just brilliant. And I think there was this actor. I think I'll just call him JS. I remember his initials, who was paralyzed, and but I think he was in the earlier parts as well, and they did a good thing to bring him back on just for a scene. So that was very interesting and very nice to see. And Other than that, I think all the characters they did a splendid job. Some did have a limited role. I was really impressed with Shobin Shahir. I think he was excellent in the film. Another actor who's been dabbling through various genres, and I think he did a pretty impressive job. I think it was pretty good. Other than that, yeah, the show definitely belonged to Mammootty. There's no question about it. He was brilliant even in scenes where things were crumbling around him. Certain scenes, especially towards the end, because there was no build up. It just felt like there was something amiss in the climax, but still his performance was excellent. And do I recommend it? It's a one time watch. I would have probably rated it a little higher had it been any other language, but considering the high standards of Malayalam cinema and very high standards of Malayalam cinema, I think this just falls a little short, but it's not a bad watch. It is definitely watchable. If you haven't watched the previous films of the series, I think you can still go ahead, because I hadn't. And I think that was the review. If you'd like to read my full review, please visit my site Popcorn Reviews with a double S, the link of which is in the description box below. If you're liking this video, and I'm trying to make one video very often, every day almost, or every other day, and if you're liking it, please smash the subscribe button for my channel. It helps a small creator like me. Like this video if you're liking it. Comment on what did you think about the film, and comment on films that you would like me to discuss. And that's it then. That's the video. Until next time then, see you. Take care.